Can I have your attention, please? I'd like to thank and welcome everybody to our annual Christmas banquet. I'd also like to take this time to thank my committee for all the help they have given me. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Bob Snyder.
Good evening and welcome to this gala occasion of 75 years. It's going to be awfully hard not to keep saying that too often tonight, but maybe I can do it. Now, as they say, enjoy your meal.
Yeah, I wrote the camera. Remember, what's that?
All the food's on your side.
Should I ask him if he wanted to eat? She passed away in February. All antiques. Well, it's very old. Don't have those now. Excuse me.
You the MC.
Hi, Mom.
We got that hair in my brain.
Hi there. Oh, I'm sorry. Embarrassing to eat while you're doing one.
Yeah, I love eating while I'm on videotape. This is Leonard's idea, not mine.
Spill something on your tie, see?
Yeah, here. I'm sorry.
Sure I did. I worked. I quit. I gave up hunting quite a few years ago. Yeah.
Well, I used to love food business.
There's a lot of that. I didn't see many at all. That's how it works.
Let's see. Watch my balancing act. Okay, empty. We'll see how it is full.
We're a fault out here. It's color.
Yeah, only the hot right hotel Saturday nights after 10, right?
Wayne, just what's in the horizon?
Thank you, Bryce.
What part of Canada do you go to?
Actually, I'm glad you said that.
What?
They'd caught me getting a mouse pulled Thank you.
It's about the third strike now. I think I'm about ready to start eating.
Larry,
Yes.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Take a picture of the animals from the zoo. And also you go on camera.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention?
They should taken one of you sitting out there reading your book. I see you when I go by from the store. I didn't when the weather was hot and nice.
He has to work at 4:30, so it's like 5 till he gets up there. So I take a book. One night I sat there till 6 and I finished it.
No, Willie's always on the camera every time he's here.
Could have myself you see McCabeges.
What do you think of it, Bill? Good. You talking about the turkey or the light?
Don't point your finger and take your picture.
Got a gun? Got a gun? Maybe. Yeah, I have a gun. We'll try it. Tripping, Bill. Tripping, Bill. He's not used to bright lights like that, Dick ain't. Dick ain't used to bright lights like that. Read up where you at. Got a gun? Shoot that spotlight out.
Lights are bright.
I've been a gentleman today.
Yeah, he's being a gentleman.
They broke one camera, now they're trying to break another one. Joe's over there. Go on. Smile, you old
Got Ted's picture. Take the film. Good. Go ahead. He's
Hang on, got you. What? You do that for me. There's a troublemaker.
But I think that's
Make sure they clean up their plates.
Remember I said I was going to juggle some rolls for you or something, but I was voted down.
Throw 'em at him.
That's fine.
Don't you want to look at this and smile?
Jordan Gannett smell pretty.
What's that?
Jordan Gannett smell pretty.
Smell, Elmer, you're on candy cane. He didn't hear me.
They get somebody over there in Aaron Pattern Bowl, picking up them old patterns down there.
They're getting their picture taken.
They're gonna put that showroom in back there.
You just want all my wrinkles to show.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? At this time, it's an honor for me to present 2 letters of recognition to Mr. Bob Snyder. The first one is from Robert Mosbacher, who is the Secretary of Commerce with the Bush administration. There you go, Bob.
Gee. Thank you very much. You want me to read this, I guess?
No, you don't have
You
to.
don't?
We'll display it later for everybody to read. The second one is from Congressman Bill Goodling. Sorry. Also, this is a letter congratulates everybody at the Foundry on their 75 years of service to the community.
Well, thank you, Sean. It's a real pleasure to receive these on behalf of the company.
Along with the letter from Mr. Goodling is a certificate and an American flag which has been flown over the nation's capital honoring the founders of the Lewistown Hardware and Foundry.
All I can do, Sean, is say thank you, and also Congressman Goodling. Right. Thank you very much.
All right.
Of the first 4 founders, Emery Snyder, Luther, Chloe Snyder, and my mother, Mary Bell. She is here tonight at the ripe young age of 98. Would you please welcome Mary Bell Snyder? Moving on to the service awards. As most of you know, we give watches and gold pins to all employees who reach 25 years service. We also give plaques to those who reach 35 years, but tonight we have none who have reached that goal of 35 years. As you can see by your program, Francis Selby and Kenneth Reinhardt have reached 25 years. Would you 2 gentlemen please come forward? Kenneth, congratulations. Thank you. Here's your watch. If it doesn't run, you know where you got it. And here's your anniversary 25-year pin. Francis, the same for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bob.
And your pin.
Thank you.
Let's hear it again. Next item, of course, is the annual A.G. Ely Memorial Award, and as you can see, tonight marks the 30th award presentation. It started in 1961, the year after A.G. died very suddenly in the plant at the age of 46. So, stepping in at a moment's notice for Leonard tonight, Dean Bankert will take care of the Ely Memorial Award. Dean?
Many of you have had the privilege to work with AG and to have known him over the years. Some of you have not, and I'd like to take just a few minutes to give you some remarks about his background and to have you get to know him a bit better. AG was considered a sportsman, definitely a businessman, a fierce competitor, an educator, a family man, and a friend of all. He coached with ingenuousness, and he taught by example. He was an inspirational leader whose rapport with his charges made them perform above the level of their abilities. His example and influence extended well beyond the locker room, for he was universally admired by the entire student body with whom he was associated. His dedication, his abilities, and professionalism has served as a model for very many people. It is interesting that so many of his former players made coaching their careers. And at one time, there were 5 of his former football players coaching in this area at the same time. And 2 of those men were elected into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. These quotes that I mentioned describe A.G. Ely. He was born in 1914 and died at the Foundry on December 13, 1960. By today's standards, 46 years is a fairly short lifespan. However, A.G. accomplished more in those 46 years than many people in their 80s and beyond. A.G. came from a very religious family in Vincennes, Indiana. In fact, his father was a minister. Just as a point of reference, Vincennes, Indiana is located about 30 miles north of Evansville, Indiana, the home of one of our fine customers, Anchor Industries. A.G. was an outstanding college athlete. He was all-league in college in both football and basketball. He was head football, basketball, and tennis coach at Hanover High School. He served as a lieutenant in the Navy in World War II, and while in the Battle of Okinawa, a suicide Japanese plane hit their ship when it was located in the China Sea, and unfortunately 1/3 of the crew was lost, as well as the ship. Because of his leadership and efforts in saving his crew members' lives, he was awarded the Bronze Star. After the service, he became associated with Litco and was responsible for the growth of the Foundry's aluminum casting business. It was A.G. who got our company started in the awning business, and it was he as well who landed the Fargo and the Anchor accounts. It was A.G. who started the Hadco Lighting Company as part of Litco, and it was A.G. who was responsible for the development of our heat treating facilities. He was also very active in civic affairs, such as president of the Hanover Borough Council, president of Littlestown Rotary, on the Hanover Hospital Board, church council president, a founder of the Industrial Management Club in Hanover, and he was a very popular public speaker. Some people have it, some don't. A.G. was a true leader of men. He definitely had it. His characteristics were the same as the late Vince Lombardi, whether in sports, on the battlefield, in business, in his community, or in his church. He definitely was a leader. That's the background for the individual for whom this award is named. Because of A.G.'s life, I think it's apparent why the winner of this award cannot be just an athlete, can't be a high school football jock, but he must excel in scholastic work and citizenship as well. This year's award winner was the quarterback for the high school football team, who happens to rank number 5 in his class with a grade point average of 3.42 and is active in other school activities. He received this trophy cup, and his name is placed on a plaque which is kept in the high school trophy case. And in addition, he receives a $1,000 scholarship toward his college education. It's my very distinct pleasure to fill in for Leonard this evening and to introduce to you this year's winner, Mark Timmons. And I'd also like to have you meet Mr. and Mrs. Timmons, his proud parents. Mark, on behalf of the Foundry, I'd like to return this award to you, which you had before, and to express our appreciation for your accomplishments at this point. And on behalf of everyone here, we wish you the very, very best, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mark, and thank you, Dean. Leonard had planned to make some appropriate remarks in view of our anniversary this evening. And again, another able substitute will bring those remarks to you in the form of our plant manager, Larry Smeltzer. Larry?
This is the kind of impromptu that you really don't look forward to. Bear with us, and as I read from Leonard's notes, we'll do the best we can. Tonight is a night to celebrate, to reflect on our company's history, and especially the employees, customers, and suppliers who have played such an important part in our continued success. Make us aware of that in the next couple of moments. Will the company be spending the necessary capital monies on the state-of-the-art equipment to stay competitive and attract new customers? Yes, we will, and we have been and are. As you've seen in the plant in the last couple of days, we're renovating the floor just beyond the offices for the most recent improvement in the carousel system that will enhance the improvement as far as the hardware department is concerned. All right, we have made very recent improvements as far as our pouring apparatus in the Hunter system is concerned, and those apparent improvements are taking place continually throughout our organization. The answer to every one of those questions, not only just a yes or yes, we're involved, but we should all recognize and be proud that Litco is a leader in many of those areas. Some examples of your company's involvement in leadership. I know that there are many employees here tonight that have toured other foundries. I would be willing to bet that each one of them would agree that our foundry is definitely the cleanest by far. In fact, we may have the cleanest high production green sand foundry in the entire United States. We are a leader. We purchased the very first Hunter HV20 system ever made. We purchased and helped design the only vibratory incline quench conveyor made for aluminum castings by the General Kinematics Company. We were the guinea pig and testing facility for the very first rotary aluminum degasser made by the Reading Foundry Products Company. We also purchased one of the first 5 Alu-Delta grain refining and modification units put on the market. We recently installed an automatic aluminum pouring ladler. We were not the very first, however, have one of the first 3 world ever installed on the Hunter turntable system. And I would like to reiterate by saying we are the first that we have ever changed from a processor to an industrial computer to make that system work. By that I mean other systems that have been built have the capacity or the ability to only retrieve a given volume of metal and pour into a given capacity or a given area. We have applied an industrial computer that allows us to retrieve a given amount of metal and pour into more than one specific area at a given time on command. That's unique, and we've done that. I'd like to add that we are currently preparing for the installation of a new automatic computer-controlled storage and retrieval system for the awning parts. That's what I was relating to you earlier when I said the innovation and renovation that's taking place immediately outside the office. We also have preliminary plans for improving and streamlining our casting flow and our heat treatment, wheel braiding, vibratory, and finishing areas in conjunction with building a new employee lunchroom and shower facilities. We are extremely active in research in several areas of the aluminum industry. This will be our 5th year of direct involvement with the Aluminum Cast Research Laboratories, whose objective is to investigate and research relevant to issues challenging the aluminum casting industry and then disseminate that technical research information among its members and aluminum casting industry throughout the world. We feel proud and honored to be the only aluminum green sand foundry associated with 18 other aluminum industries, some of which are world companies like Alcoa, Reynolds Metals, CMI International, a corporation who has foundries all over the world, Pacini, the 3rd largest producer of aluminum in the world, located in France, just to name a few. And a couple others that have added their names within the last 2 weeks are companies such as GM Motors and Ford Motor Company. We are also involved with the American Foundryman Society in several separate research programs. One of the most recent was done by Dr. Baccarat in Sweden, involving detailed studies of the solidification process in several aluminum alloys. In both the ACRL and Baccarat research, books and technical papers have been distributed throughout the world, and the LITCO name is listed and recognized as one of the participants. And I can assure you, when you get into those areas where we are involved in research, and to see our name listed in those research participants, it's quite an experience, and it's a good feeling. The LITCO name is listed and recognized as one of those participants. We are also just getting started with another research project with Penn State University and the Ben Franklin Research Partnership. In fact, Dr. Voigt of Penn State, who is new from the state of Iowa, has brought into Penn State through their recent death of Dr. help me, Dr. Draper. Dr. Voigt has been brought in to bring that program to life again and stay active in the foundry industry. Dr. Voigt of Penn State will be here next week on Thursday morning at 7 o'clock, he tells me, to review the details of the research. He will also tour the plant as well. In the case some of you are not aware of the Penn State University, and this is Len's comments, not mine, it was the university that lost the National Football Championship in '81 to Clemson University. And strikingly enough, '81 was not the year, it was '83. Your company's research involvement is certainly not on the same level as Alcoa's, General Motors, or Ford. However, when compared to foundries of our size, we are definitely a leader. And I think that's important to expound upon that fact. All right, we are the only green sand caster involved. Other foundries have been solicited. We have asked them to participate, but we are the only green sand founder involved in the country. All right, we were the forerunner when in the ACRL, or the Aluminum Research Casting Laboratories. We started at Drexel University in Philadelphia. We were the only foundry that was involved at that time. Since then, we've had a permanent mold caster involved, and we've had a die caster involved. But we are still the only sand caster involved in that research. Your company is a third-generation, family-owned business whose company and employees take an active part in community activities, civic associations, school, and sports programs. Luther, Emery, and AG were leaders in those areas. It is probably not publicly known, but your company donated 5 acres of land in the 60s for our town's community park and swimming pool areas. Luther and Emery were both involved in community affairs their entire life. Luther was responsible for the Boy Scouts for well over 50 years, and Emery was president of the Littlestown School Board when the Maple Avenue School was built. During this past year, we have purchased the box factory property directly behind the old maintenance shop, and just settled last week on the adjoining Krabs property. That was a property that was burned very recently, unfortunately, and we were able to acquire that. Our long-range plans and hope is that that area will be made into a recreational park for use by our employees and neighbors. Our plans are to name the park in honor of Emery and Luther. And last but most importantly, we have always felt very strongly about what we consider the most important factor in our industry: continued employee training through AFS seminars, supervisory seminars, in-plant training, Dale Carnegie type training opportunities, night classes, etc. Consequently, our employees have responded with a better attitude toward their job, company, and life in general. We'd like to think that they see themselves growing and improving along with the company. I might add that all this education is not directed solely towards foundry knowledge. We've held classes at night for general English, math subjects, along with programs directed toward receiving a high school equivalency diploma. These programs are taught by certified teachers, and as of this moment, 6 employees have received their high school certification. As I call out your names, I would like those 6 individuals to stand and accept an appreciation for the work that they've done. Jeannie Shipley, please. Virginia Cumby, Mike Bollinger, Roger Stair, John Stonecipher, and Colleen Cool. Thank you very much. We have an individual that is currently working towards that certificate, Shirley Font. We have individuals that are working on advanced studies at a college level that is an accredited and a degreed level. Karen Stambaugh, Roger Stair, and John Stonecipher. We have individuals that most recently participated and completed a modern geometric dimensioning and tolerancing course. Roger Stair, Hasha, Tom McGonigal, Larry Belts, John Stonecipher. We have individuals that most recently have participated and completed a course on green sand testing seminars with American Colloid Company. Betty Moomert, nice hair. John Stonecipher, Roger Stair, Rick Setz, and Hasha. I had to do that. We are currently, our company is currently active in trying to develop a program that we started on about 5 years ago locally on trying to build or generate an idea for a schooling system of a vo-technical nature at a higher level being vo-tech is generally associated with high school level. And what we tried to do was build an idea that locally we could generate enough participation with business to incorporate a vo-tech level at an associate's degree level, let's say, after school. We are back in that program again, and we are currently involved in developing a maintenance program, which the first 2 courses will be offered in January of this year at Conewaga School System through the auspices of Harrisburg Community College. All right, and individuals that have been very involved in that are Wayne Anders and Dean Bankert. We currently have at the Hanover Industrial Management Club supervision classes, John Shipley is competing not competing, but completing his first session, all right, of the Basic 1 course. All right, we appreciate that. Those individuals that are enrolled in the second semester of those classes are Rick Setz, John Shipley again, Harsha, Wayne Anders, Roger Stair, and John Stonecipher. Individuals that are involved in a basic writing skills coming up in the spring. Class will be offered by Hanover Industrial Management Club in March and April. Those individuals will be announced. We have Virginia Cumby, who's already enrolled in one of those seminars coming up in March of next year. Where's Virginia? Individuals taking self-improvement courses at Catonsville Community College, Gloria Sondecker and Howard Brown. what a couple of notes that Leonard has here, but essentially where we're leading to in the whole thing is the basic philosophy that you do not buy success, you build success. And we put a lot of emphasis in our organization relative to the aspect of training and a better understanding of what we have to achieve if we're going to compete in the 90s and into the 21st century. And by the list of those names of the individuals that I've just given that are participating in those training programs, obviously we are not only talking about it, we're actually doing something about making sure those individuals will be ready for the 21st century. There's no question that times are tough right now for all businesses. Unfortunately, our government doesn't make it any easier with increased taxes, regulations, landfill superfunds, new stormwater laws, unfair employee discrimination laws, forced medical coverages, unfair tariffs that make it easy for foreign products to enter our country, but difficult for our products to enter certain foreign countries. I go on and on. However, in spite of all those negatives, your company is excited and looking forward to the challenges of the 21st century. When you think about those questions I started off with, I'm sure you realize that your company is ready and prepared for the future. Our employees are trained and prepared for the future. We do consider ourselves a player in the world market. We have recently quoted on this couple of my notes, and I did it very carelessly. And Howard, you might have to help me on this. The company from Sweden, okay, that it was a domestic company that we were quoting, that were getting their castings made in Sweden, and we now stand a good chance of making those parts at Littlestown Foundry as opposed to having them made abroad and brought back. So the point being that some of the domestic companies that we now have that are getting their castings made abroad are coming back and looking for local sources to make those parts at a competitive value, and I think we can supply and fulfill that demand. And will we be around to celebrate our 100th anniversary in the year 2016? And with that, Bob, I'll turn that over to you. You answer that question.
Thank you very much, Larry, for filling in so ably for Leonard. Thank you very much. Committee introductions. Once again, we have to thank the committee for most of what you see here, especially the lovely Christmas tree behind that bright light. Thank you, committee, and those in charge this year. Sean Niederer, chairman. Would you stand, please, as I call your name? Lydia Clayball, co-chairman. Phyllis Potts, Bob Shorb, and Ronald DeGroft. Thank you. Happy 75th, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.